and gentlemen, I'm your host for today's broadcast, Insane Lear 13, as we're preparing to get underway for our third to last race in XRL's X3 division here at Portimao in the nation of Portugal. Looks like we're going to have nearly a full field during today's race, if not an outright full field altogether. So strap in, because this means that every bit of qualifying and every bit of the race is going to be jam action-packed with things to watch today. There. Now my audio should be included. Portimao, one of the newcomers to one of the new returns, more like, to the Formula One schedule, showed up during the 2020 and 2021 seasons to help bolster the reduced calendar size during the pandemic. It's a very interesting circuit. From the outside, the track map looks like a little bit more convoluted Catalunya, but this track is filled with overtaking opportunities, even without DRS, with lots of high highs, low lows, and then not to mention the run through the final corner down to turn 1 is one of the most incredible in the entire field. 20 drivers coming in for today's race. I cannot believe it. I did not think we'd see this again before the season wrapped up. In the terms of the Drivers' Championship, XRL MSC SF7, Schumacher SF7 as he is also known, has already won the championship by default after taking home a victory last week at Yas Marina. The Manufacturers' Championship, though, is still up for grabs, with both McLaren and Ferrari having a hand on it each, trying to wrestle it away. Ferrari has held the Manufacturers' Championship lead for a little bit over a month. However, the counterpoint to that, though, is that, McLaren has really rebounded in the last 3 weeks. What had been a 40-point gap has shrunk to nearly being nothing. It was very slightly extended last week, but not enough to where the Ferrari team can really relax. Both of the McLaren seem to believe that they can be nice and strong today. One of the other things to take note of will be tire compound. Also, a new Red Bull in today's race. We are not looking... I had to check something there. We're not looking at the same number 2 Red Bull driver we've had since Portimao. Hayes Boruto is now the one backing up the Red Bull effort. Thing is, though, it's a little too late. Even if this ends up being a fantastic swap, Hayes Boruto also... I wonder if Hayes Boruto would enjoy watching a show about Boruto's dad, but I don't know if they would ever have a name for it. But irregardless, however the Red Bulls do, they have already locked up third in the Manufacturers' Championship. They're not close enough to steal even second from the McLaren, and they're too far away from fourth to lose their spot. Another driver that we get to see today, XRL Dragon, is he's representing the Alfa Romeo camp today. Dragons just made a handful of starts here and there across the season. Times really limited him when it comes to what he can and can't do. But what we're going to do, what I want to do at least, is I want to eventually get to right on board with one of our title contenders when it comes to the manufacturers fight. This is Mantic Meerkat in the McLaren right now. He's got the soft tires on. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and ride on board silently for a full lap on board with Mantic Meerkat. He's been outperforming his teammate Herbago over the last few weeks. Let's see what a flying lap around Portimao looks like from the McLaren driver here. So at the moment, Dragonborn leads the field with a 119.009. Two drivers have set their times on the mediums. Sweester, 1987, Hayes, Boruto, both of them are in the 120s. Veli is in the middle of a lap right now in the Williams machine as he goes through Sector 2. Gotta be careful with Sector 2. It's very easy to put the power down too early and coming uphill, spin yourself right off the circuit. E-Diggity right now is the slowest. But again, 20 drivers, that means that 5 people are not going to advance out of this first round of qualifying, and that is Dave, who has gone for a spin, coming onto the back stretch. Fratter's in the middle of a aborted lap after screwing up on his first attempt. A.K. Herbie in the Mercedes. His teammate Snake has won a race this season. Herbie would love to join those ranks, but only 3 races left that may be out of possibility for him. Constant Jet in the Haas. He is teammating with Dragonborn today. Yet, no confidence today. He fully anticipates to be in the interviewing booth very early on during today's race. Now, he's said that before and has pulled out some strong runs. So I'm not going to... on the other hand, I think he's going to be able to pull this off and make this work out well for himself today. Riders in the Alpine in the middle of the lap. 22.821 at the end of Sector 1. But you can see he's already burned up the majority of his ERS, which is going to hurt him significantly when he comes around to the end of this lap. Also, this track doesn't look wide enough. It looks almost too wide for it, but this circuit is also well known for motorbike racing. MotoGP comes here along with other more local touring biking series. And Fratters invalidates. And Herbago retires with a 19.120. No one's able to beat Dragonborn's time at the top of the sheets right now. What can his teammate Constant Jet do in the other Haas? Did the Alpine spin? The Alpine very nearly spun out there. In the final corner, here comes Jet to the line. He'll be the 13th driver to set a time, and it'll only be a 120.938. Not looking strong for Jet. Dragonborn now retires in the pits. Several other drivers on out laps, including this man here, our champion, Schumacher SF7. And he has the hard tire compounds on. A very bold strategy, to say the least. Now, throughout the majority of the season, Ferrari's strength has not been with its top end. It's been with its handling abilities, so much that they can sometimes extract much better performance in qualifying from harder tires than you would expect. So what we're going to do, just like before, we're going to go ahead and run on board silently for a lap with Schumacher SF7 and see how his run around here compares to Mantic Meerkats around Portimao on much harder, much stiffer, much less forgiving tires. And on hard rubber, your champion, Schumacher SS7, sets a 19.9. Now, while there's definitely a lot of time for people lower down the grid to improve, that kind of performance suggests that Schumacher's real pace, once we get to Q2 and Q3, could easily be in the 18s, low 18s at that. So Ferrari, having locked up the Drivers' Championship, might try and go for manufacturers now. 3 other drivers still have yet to set their times. Schumacher's teammate Flavor pulled off a very unexpected podium last week. He was running for the first half of the race completely out of the championship points paying conditions, but he finished 3rd after penalty countback. There's also Fratters and Zola who have yet to get their laps in. Fratters has tried but invalidated. Zola doing the hard tire strat like Schumacher. Zola's time on the hards not nearly as competitive as Schumacher's. He's still in the 120s. Flavor sets the 6th fastest time thus far, 119.6. Here comes Fratters to the line. He'll be the 20th and final driver to set a time. So with that in mind, the drivers who are on the outside looking in, XRL Dave with a 27.772, Zackel with a 20.780, Constantine with a 20.938, Fratters and Piran both in the 21s. Dave, out of everyone, I think has the highest likelihood of moving up because he has taken off the medium tires. He has since put on a set of softs and is coming down to out of the final corner now. This should make him a little bit faster as he begins to start his flying lap here. Of note, Hayes Boruto in 14th could also be at risk. Mercedes AMG with a 20.613. He is on the bubble right now. Dave's already gained nearly 3 tenths in just Sector 1 alone. That in itself would put him up there with Hayes Boruto. Veli retires with a 19.725, so he feels very confident. And I have to agree, I think with less than 5 minutes left in the session, if you're saying a time in the 119s, more than likely you will advance. Swiester retires with a 120.185. I don't know if I'd be confident in his position. Basically, everyone from 10th on down, I think, could still be at risk of getting knocked out here. Dave is now up by over 8 tenths, 85 hundredths to be exact. Dave could end up improving by nearly an entire second by the end of this lap. The Alfa Romeos have been fantastic in qualifying, have been putting together some great race results. They've not won any races yet this season, but they have absolutely rebounded. Now, Dragon is not Dave's normal teammate. It's normally Collie Boy, but Dragon also has a great time on Dave. Ahead of Dragon, he goes up to a 19.935. So that's going to shake up the table a bit because now Mercedes AMG is on the outside looking in, and the driver on the bubble is Hayes Boruto in the Red Bull. Now that Red Bull driver has already responded. He has already thrown on a set of soft tires and will likely try to improve by about the same, if not more, as before. The wild card is that if all this works out in the way that Boruto wants it to, he might put Zola on the bubble, if not knock him out completely. Constant Jet trying to get a faster lap in right now. Both of the drivers who set their times on hards, Schumacher and Zola, have now come back out onto the circuit. And it's a big question. Do you want to go ahead and use a set of mediums? It will make you faster, but will that be fast enough compared to these drivers? Jet is up by 4 tenths at the end of Sector 2. That sort of improvement would move him up at the 16th. If he can keep finding time, he might be able to jump Zola. Hayes Boruto, now up to 10th. And he's in! Zola coming to the line to begin his flyer. Mercedes-AMG is already up by 4/10 in Sector 1 alone of Zackel. Mercedes lost a lot of that time he gained in Sector 1 and Sector 2. This could hurt him. Zola coming down. He's already up by a bit more than a 10th, but he needs to find a lot more than that. He needs to overcome Sweester's time of a 120.185. Mercedes-AMG coming to the line. Is he any faster? No, he's actually slower. Zackel had a horrible run, burned up most of his ERS, being slower, and that might be the case again now. But Zola, one of the strongest drivers all season long, might be at risk of getting knocked out of Q1. It's iffy though. He's up by 45 hundredths right now. Mercedes-AMG has had an incident in Sector 1. Here it comes through the final 2 quarters. Zola might have just found enough time going from the hard tires to the medium tires to advance to the next round of qualifying. One of Fratters. He gets one more shot to try and make it in. Zackel is out of ERS. There's no way he's going to go any faster. Mercedes is down after his spin. Zola has moved up to 11th though, 119.814. And Schumacher is still out on the same set of hard tires. Not something we anticipated, but I think he's safe. Constant Jet has retired in the pits. Sweester has also retired, so Sweester will not advance. Constant Jet is the time to go for. If you're Mercedes, if you're Zackel, if you're Fratters, you must beat a 120.039. Imperium is still in pit lane, so he will not be able to get on track and contest this final spot for Q2. Big slide for Fratters, but look at that. He's up by nearly an entire second. The problem is that Fratters needs to be up by a second and a half. Can he find that much time? Time's up in the session. For Fratters, can he make it into Q2? The answer, no. Only 16th with a 120.126. Mercedes-AMG is up in Sector 1, but he doesn't have a lot of ERS left. Zackel is in the pits. For Mercedes, he still needs to improve by about 6/10 overall. If he does that, he could make it into the next round and squeeze Constant Jet out of round 2 of qualifying. There's a slow Ferrari ahead of the Aston Martin though. How much will this compromise his lap? He's lost time. He's 3/10 down right now. He needs to find another 3/10 if he wants to make it in. He might be close enough to the Ferrari to get a draft off of him coming down the main straightaway. July. Mercedes-AMG will set a 120. Was that enough? No! And he will not advance. Constant Jet is out of the first round of qualifying and will make it into round 2. And the spread in time from the top to the bottom of everyone who made it in is just a slight tick over a second. The drivers that do not advance will be Fratters, Sweester, Mercedes-AMG, Zackel, and Imperium. And Sweester will be the interesting one because he's not used any soft tires or hard tires, just a set of mediums, and then he was fine with that. So he has more tires available in the race for him than anyone else. But the wild cards are going to be Zola and Schumacher. They may have pace that could put them in the 118s. So keep an eye on that when we get underway. Alright, so things change a bit now, because at this point, fewer drivers on track. And with fewer drivers on track, that means that we also will see more cars being able to run in clean air, put together proper fast times. Also, you can't just run hard tires in the case of Schumacher and easily make your way into the next round of qualifying. You kind of have to put together something amazing on the mediums or go to the softs right away. Several drivers already have medium tires equipped, but the first driver out on circuit, per usual, is the Haas of Dragonborn. Topped the timesheets early on in Q1 and was never really threatened. And that's an Alfa Romeo that's around. Is that Dragon? Dragon has gone around at the end of Sector 2, and there is wing damage on that car as well. So he'll have to pit to repair that. Mantic Meerkat set his lap in the prior session on softs and was one of the top 3 fastest. Now he has the medium tires equipped. A very strange decision, to say the least. Mind you, this McLaren was in the low 19s on the soft, so I'm curious to see how much slower he's going to be with the mediums equipped. Veli sets his time 120.105, so he's the first driver to cross the line. Dragonborn just did not have a good run and basically invalidated his initial attempt. Meerkat across the line, 119.402. So despite going from soft to medium tires, his time's not falling off all that much. His teammate Herbago now breaks into the 18s, 118.464. It's the first driver he's seen thus far in the 18s, and by a significant amount at that. Zola's still on the medium tires. So it'd be interesting to see what Dragonborn can do. He invalidated his first lap, which suggests that he may be struggling a bit on his rubber. Again, top doesn't really matter in Q2. It just matters to stay in the top 10 by the time the session is over. Fewer cars on track, but less time means that you have a higher likelihood that your laps will be maximized, but you have fewer shots at it. And Dragonborn's not really any faster. What of Zola? Zola waited until late in the first round qualifying to throw out a set of medium so he could advance. Coming to the line, it looks like it will be another time in the 19s. 19.702, that's the 5th best again. And again, he's just barely ahead of his teammate Hayes Borto. Dragon, both of the Alfa Romeos are on track right now, actually. Dave and Dragon. not super busy in this session. A lot of drivers very much willing to wait for a while for drivers to get their laps in. Dave says a 28.899, so something went wrong on that lap that caused him to drop nearly 9 seconds off the rest of the field. Kind of hard to tell what it was because I was not focusing on him. But he should have another shot if he was able to properly store his ERS back up for another run in it. His teammate Drag will come across the line with a 119.220. That's third best thus far. Here's Schumacher. He's out on track. Also of note, Snake, veteran of the X3 division. He's also out on track right now. Herbago retires, and I don't blame him. If you're saying any time in the 18s, you're pretty much guaranteed a spot in the final round of qualifying. Dave, it says that he's up in Sector 2 at least. Can he get into the 120s? I have every reason to believe he can. He has absolutely performed above and beyond in the last few weeks. Last few months, honestly. To the line. Dave, 119.310. That's the fifth best time thus far. Now we look at Schumacher in the middle of his lap. 22.4 in Sector 1. He's on soft tires, so he's not leaving anything on the table. He's showing his hand early in qualifying. A lot of the time, he's like to try and advance into Q3 with the medians, so it looks like he is not worried about doing that this time. Bit squirrely coming off the top of the hill there. Alfa Romeo around in Sector 2. Is that Dave? Yeah, something happened to Dave. He is also low on fuel, so I guess we shouldn't worry too much about it. But still, something to know of. And Schumacher now goes to the top. Oh, about 11. Yeah, he's 11 hundredths faster than Herbago with 18.354. So Schumacher showing his pace early on in Q2. I say early on, it's more like midway through Q2. And he could definitely retire out of this session with a time like that. His teammate Flavor already in the middle of the lap right now. Keep an eye on Snake. Snake will be the 14th driver to cross the line here. It'll be a 1:19.274. It's the seventh best time thus far. So you look at the sheets, and between third and ninth right now, everyone's within about 2,500 hundredths, about a quarter of a second between third and ninth right now. It's incredible. Now Hayes Borto moves up to third, 19.059. What can Flavor do? He's been expert at squeezing into Q3 at the last possible moment. Will they send Schumacher out to try and help give Flavor a tow down the main straightaway? They might not need it. Flavor, third fastest, 119.058. If you're in the 19.0s, I think you're safe. But outside of that, it's going to be iffy. Right now, Mantic Meerkat is on the bubble. Now, he says time on the medium, so now he has the soft tires. I'm anticipating to see him break into the 18s here. He does. 18.5. So Zola and Herbie are now the ones who have the most time to gain. Zola's already put on the soft tires. So we're anticipating Zola will improve by, I'll say probably 9/10. Zola may have compromised his lap a bit, ran out of ERS, coming down the front straightaway at the end of his lap, but he still sets a 119.109. But look at this right now, Diggity's time of 119.250. Earlier, that was considered good enough easily. Now, that's not even going to come close. He's on the bubble, and there are a lot of drivers in the process of improving. Herbie has removed his medium tires. He's on softs. How much time did he gain in Sector 1 alone with the fresher, faster rubber? Already, he's up by over 1/5 of a second. Sector 2 is the real measure, though. See the most time gained in Sector 2. Both McLarens retire. They know that they're going to advance without issues. And that is an Alfa Romeo that has had an issue. Is that Dragon? It is. Dragon has had a spin. It's the same place he went off circuit earlier, but this time he is way more sideways. What of Herbie? Coming up to the final 2 corners now. Hayes Borto trying to go faster. Field very tightly packed from about 4th all the way down to 13th. Everyone, and Herbie is now in the 18s, 18.9. Perigomini, a newcomer in the Alpine. We've not talked about him much. He's coming across to start his next lap. Dave is up in Sector 1 by a bit over 2/10. What can he gain in Sector 1 and 2 combined? Oh, and he's around! It doesn't matter! And that lap is compromised. Schumacher is coming back out on circuit. What of Constant Jet? Jet barely made it into Q2. And his time thus far is the only one still in the 20s. He was still up on time, though, at the end of Sector 2. How much can he gain? Can he maybe squeeze himself into the final round here? Final corner. And he ran out of ERS usage, but he moves up to 19.633, but he does not move up on the grid at all. He is still 22 thousandths off of 14th, let alone the barrier that Dragon has set. And both Alfa Romeos have had an incident at the same place, and Dragon has actually had an accident coming off of the hill. 19.220, but Dragon has destroyed his wing trying to go faster. And Dave has just had another spin as well. Both of the Alfa Romeos, who have been so strong in qualifying for the majority of the season, have now started to implode under this pressure. And Dave's around again, right coming out of the final corner. Thankfully, no one else is coming on him. Here comes Snake now as he rounds the final corner. Out of it, straight away, up the hill. He pops up the DRS. He's out of ERS usage. He'll move up to 9th with a 19.151. Both of the Alfa Romeos are on the outside looking in now. Dragonborn, who was on top of the timesheets in the first round of qualifying, is now on the bubble and may not make it out. Road Mini down by 6/10 this lap. He was not able to improve. It's not looking good for him. Diggity invalidated immediately as he started this lap. He needs to go ahead and conserve as much fuel as he can and build that ERS up. The problem, though, is time. There is less than 30 seconds left. Diggity is not going to have a shot at this. It looks like Dragonborn will just barely squeeze in. Oh, the Ferraris, they're doing it again. The Ferraris are the top Ferrari driver is giving the number 2 Ferrari driver a tow down the straightaways. Flavor's down by 2/10 in Sector 1, though. I don't think that was a very good idea. And Schumacher didn't get out of the way in time. Oh, this good thing. They're not going to need to utilize this, but this is still a set of tires wasted by both of them. And time's up. Over. Plow for Q2. Diggity will not advance. Snake will make it in, though, and Dragonborn improved up into 8th at the last moment. Oh, sweet. And coming into the party right now is Chubby IX Spark. Chubby, go ahead and include your audio. It's Portugal, a circuit that I'm sure you are very familiar with. Probably a circuit that still haunts you in your dreams sometimes. Go ahead and include your audio. Q2 is wrapping up. What do you have to say as we get into Q3 here?
Well, as I just heard from this little moment that you just said, it looks like some people are going to try to employ the strategy of drafting people down the front straight, since at least when I was here that people use very high downforce setups. I don't know if that's still true or not, but that definitely will work if you at least, properly do it.
Look at these times from 1st to 13th. Everyone was within a second of each other. The top 10 alone are all within 8/10. This could get very interesting because I look at the timesheets right now. Yes, we're so used to seeing both McLarens and the Ferrari Schumacher fighting for pole, but honestly, everyone in the top 10, I could very easily see getting pole position here. This could be a very interesting showdown for qualifying. Full field today also. All 20 spots filled in today's race. And things to remember, and we'll talk a little bit more about it after Q3 ends here. There are several battles going on. The Points Drivers' Championship locked up last week. The manufacturer's title is still on the line. There are still 2 teams trying to break the 100-point barrier before the season is up, and time is quickly running out for them. Then there's the fight for second between the 2 McLarens and Zola in the Drivers' Championship, and the fight for 5th. Now, Flavor has started to pull away from his rivals in that fight, but still, it is up and contested. Who's going to be the first one out on track? I'm seeing movement in the Red Bull camp. That's Hayes Boruto, but once again, per usual, the first driver out on circuit is Dragonborn. Dragonborn rushed out, set a first lap early on in Q1, a lap that was never eclipsed, but in Q2, it got a lot tighter for him. As of late, Dragonborn has relied very heavily on very low downforce setups, and that massive upward swing in momentum he had since joining the series at Portimao has kind of stalled out. He has not been able to finish his last 2 races in the points paying positions. Last week, he didn't even finish. Really needs to turn things around if he wants to fight for 5th in the drivers. So about half the grid already out on track. Actually a bit more, it's 6 of our 10 drivers out on circuit now, including both of the McLarens.
It does look like Dragonborn is going to be the first one to set the lap. He is very consistent on that, at least. Always the first one out, and let's see how he starts his lap. This first corner is always very tough when you're trying to push flat out, because it's downhill, and you hit that sausage curve, and then you kind of get a little bit loose and everything, and then you invalidate, so. Pretty good job by Dragonborn.
2:14 was Dragonborn's top time when he crossed the line. Here comes Mantic Meerkat. Not top speed when he crossed the line, top speed coming into turn 1. Mantic Meerkat in the McLaren, though, it's not even close. 204, it's a 10-mile-an-hour difference.
Yeah.
So
Dragonborn also, with his being always first on a lap, he always has a very low downforce setup, which, like last week, did not help him very much, but it did help him, be up near the lead all the time. But, so it's a very risky setup for him. If he's able to keep it together, then it's very good.
At the start of the race last week at Yas Marina, Dragonborn honestly had pace to fight. I do think that Dragonborn's super low downforce setups are really a great strategy. It's the same strategy that the McLarens, primarily Herbago, but Meerkat also, they've used to great effect during the midpoint of the season. However, that team has stopped using
Great
that
lap by
Dragonborn.
him.
Yeah, Dragonborn's finally in the 18s. 18.4 is his best lap thus far.
Oh, Valiant validated. Hayes, Barotto, 6/10 down on his lap. Meerkat's the next one to the line. Let's see what he sets. 18.3.
Faster. Yeah, Dragonborn.
A little bit faster. And
Herbago.
11 thousandths faster. Very good lap. And it does look like Schumacher is out on an out lap. Oh, what happened here? Oh, just somebody going slow. He is coming to the line to start his lap this qualifying session. Let's see how he does. Let's see his top speed at the end of the straight. Around the same as Meerkats.
Maybe slightly faster. I saw him briefly hit the 205 mark, but yeah. But that low downforce setup that Dragonborn has, he's the only driver in the field who's been able to use the McLaren's low downforce setup to any benefit. And when he's in clean air or very close to the front, it honestly works very well. The problem comes at if he's not in about the top 4 positions, there's so much dirty air that it compromises him really badly. Sure, he blitzes by you in the straightaways, but he becomes so easy to overtake. We actually saw him crash out because a driver overtook him on the outside of a corner and it totally caught him off guard to change the air on this front wing mid-corner, caught him off guard, and he crashed because of it. That ultra low downforce setup may seem very tempting, very challenging, especially if you can put down great laps, but if you can't guarantee that you're going to be in the top 4 positions the entire race, Dragonborn, it may be a fight for survival rather than a fight for good points.
And let's see what the Ferraris are doing, because they're backing up to each other. They might be trying to get a toe off each other, but it does not look like that's worked out for them. So, let's at least see what Schumacher... Great lap by Schumacher, though. Very good lap.
Wow. 118.051, incredible. And now here's Flavor.
And Zola.
And Flavor
actually come to the line.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Zola is. Zola will go ahead and set a 118.772. Flavor, I do want to go ahead and give him a shout out. Throughout a large chunk of the season, Flavor has needed a little bit of help, or has really come down to clutch time last minute, making it into the foul round of qualifying. It's not been the case. He's been on merit one of the top 6, if not top 5 fastest drivers all day today. I do think Flavor could very seriously contend for a pole position. We talk sometimes about how Flavor's never won a race, but he's also not won a pole yet. I could see him potentially sneaking a pole here, especially if his teammate Schumacher times it well enough to give him a big toe down the front straightaway and then moves out of the way in time that Flavor is not compromised in turns 1 through 4 afterwards.
Yeah, I do think I remember talking to him last week, and he said he is very strong around here, so I guess he's showing us what he said. So he comes to the line, his lap time, not bad.
118.8. I was expecting slightly faster, but it's still very respectable. Here's the interesting thing, though. Look at Dragonborn. He's retired. 118.426. He's not going for any more laps. So Dragonborn...
He's complacent with it, I guess.
He may realize that that time is the best he can get and is not going to risk destroying the car and upsetting his flow today. But that means he's only going to start 4th at best. Now, he's been fantastic on initial race starts because there's so little downforce on the car. He accelerates way faster than everyone else around him. But the run from your starting position on the grid down to turn 1 isn't super long here. The straightaway is pretty long on this circuit, but the run from your starting spot on the grid down to turn 1 is not that long. And then turns 1 through 4 are all very, very complicated.
I have a question. Since I wasn't here in the earlier parts, did anybody get a grid penalty? Is
no.
that maybe? Okay. So
no,
I guess
we've had no penalties. We've had a few spins and single car accidents, but everyone has made it to the end of their session. We've not had any crashes, no qualifying bans as far as I'm aware of, no grid penalties, no multi-car incidents, nothing.
Okay. So I guess just not risking it. I guess that's just, yeah, it's just kind of unorthodox to do it that way, but
yeah. Well, also considering that we normally see Dragonborn go for multiple sets of laps in all of his sessions, and he's only really done a single lap in Session 1 and Session 3, and only did 2 in Session 2. Now, the good news is, though, that means he'll
not
have a
very
lot more.
confident. Maybe he's just very unsettled with the car, and he just doesn't want to risk it. I don't know. Maybe that's something.
I wouldn't blame him, considering how much of the circuit you need good downforce levels at. And there's no likelihood of rain in today's race. Also, I do want to bring that up. A difference from when you were here and you locked up the drivers and manufacturers last full season, when we were here in the prior game. Rain from the start to nearly the end of that race. No rain.
Rain on this track
for
is
today's
fun.
event.
Definitely makes it interesting.
Yeah. Well, also around this track, it actually really works out. This circuit is large enough and wide enough almost everywhere around that you can go ahead and run side by side. Of all the circuits on the current schedule, on the XRL schedule, this one I think is better suited to natural, no DRS bullshit overtakes than anywhere else. This circuit very, very much, would let somebody who's faster in Sector 2 make an overtake through there. What are the Mercedes doing?
I think Herbie's like trying to give him.
Well, he timed it horribly.
I'm not exactly sure what was going on there. I don't think Snake's going on another lap, is he?
Nah, he's only at 29. He's only at like 29% ERS and not using
no,
yeah,
he's a second off. I don't know what that was.
Yeah. Well, all 10 drivers have already set their times in the session. The spread from the top to the bottom.
And it does look Mantic Meerkat is on a lap at the moment.
Can he go any faster?
He is a 10th and a half up at the moment.
Oh, Mercedes around. That's Herbie again.
And he is coming up. Oh, okay. So he got out of there fine.
So focus on Meerkat. Herbago also on circuit, trying to improve as well. Herbago up by only 11 hundredths right now. Clean track ahead for Meerkat, though, by the looks of it. He won't be compromised by the Mercedes. Also, Schumacher is out on track. Flavor has come out on track. I don't know if Flavor is going to make it to the line in time to put a faster lap down, though. Hayes Boruto still in pit lane. I think
he just might get there.
Yeah. Hayes Boruto, obviously driving point because he's retired, and then also Snake will not go for another set of laps. And it looks like the same for Herbie.
To the line. Let's see what he'll get. He was only 1 tenth up. Oh, did not improve that much. Only 34 thousandths of a second up.
Well, if Herbago's only up by less than 3/10 between Sector 1 and 2.
This might be close.
This would be enough to put Herbago on the pole.
Is he gonna do it?
It does it, and he breaks it into 17s.
Let's see
what Schumacher, though.
Let's see what Schumacher's response to this is. He's coming to the line now to start his lap. This is not gonna be his actual lap, but he's just gonna start it.
Also, let's see Belly coming to the line, and Flavor also trying to get to the line before time is up. Flavor might not get enough time left to get one more shot at this.
I think he'll get it. Just barely, though.
Sector 1 for Schumacher. He's down.
500ths up. Or down, sorry. Let's see, I mean... He was a little bit iffy through here last time. So let's see how much time he gains.
He needs to gain roughly 12 hundredths over the course of a lap.
Very good section right there. He's almost 2 tenths up.
He's up by almost 2 tenths. He needs to maintain that.
A little bit wide here, but I think he'll be fine.
Car stepped out on mid-corner exit, though. Schumacher is fast, but that car set does not seem to be perfect in Sector 3 to the line. He's in!
He got it! Wow.
He lost
what
a bit of time in the
lap by
very
him.
end there, but he still is in 17.885. And Schumacher to the pole again. I think this is what his 5th pole in 6 races.
And Flavor is 61 hundredths up on his lap, so let's see, or down on his lap. So let's see. He might be getting a little bit of a tow by the AI car.
No,
he lost
he's
some
down.
time.
He'll still
Still
start
a
6th.
great
though.
lap. Great qualifying session for the Ferraris.
An interesting thing
Also,
for Dragonborn, he retired early on after only setting a lap, but that time was still good enough for 4th. He never was eclipsed by anyone else except for the 2 McLarens and the Ferrari.
I think he might be regretting that.
Yeah.
I think he could have gone faster. Maybe got up into the 3rd, but I guess
But look at that time gap between 1st and 2nd, 54 thousandths. But again, Schumacher in the latter half of the season has absolutely opened it up. One of the main things that has really helped him lock up this title is taking home bonus points from pole position.
Yeah, and this is going to help in the
Incredible.
constructors too. Going to help a lot in the constructors. So.
Oh, also, apparently, I was not aware of this. Hera Gemini, who is in the Alpine, he is actually a she, so we actually have a woman joining us today. So XRL, by default, is significantly much more inclusive than real-life Formula 1 is.
And I guess you say most motorsport.
All right, so now we have a little bit of a break until we get into the start of the race itself. Real quickly, let's go ahead and look over the championship stands as they are right now. We're going to start this time with the manufacturers like we always do. AlphaTauri, they're 10th, 72 points. They need to bring home 28 points before the season is over in order to break that 100-point barrier. 9th is Williams with 95 points. They just need 5 to break that 100-point barrier. The good news is that Veli is here, and he did make the top 10 in qualifying. Veli, formerly known as Plastic Love, he's put together some strong runs this season, but he's missed a lot of races also. But yeah, Williams and AlphaTauri just trying to break that 100-point barrier. 8th is Aston Martin, 113 points. 7th is Alpine with 120, and it's a bit of a jump. 6th in manufacturers is Mercedes. They have 160 points. 5th is Alfa Romeo with 171. 4th is Haas with 191. 3rd place is Red Bull. They've locked up 3rd in the manufacturers. They're too far away to be caught. They're too far behind to catch up. 303 points. Then the manufacturers championship fight, the one that everyone's focused on. McLaren, 465 points. Ferrari, 480. It's a 15-point swing in the Ferrari's favor. But a bad run today, and McLaren could easily go back to the top there. Then we get to the Drivers' Championship. 20th is Zackel. He has 2 points. 19th is Imperium SG with 13. 18th is BTEC 11 with 17 points. 17th is Gallmeier with 25. 16th is Fratters with 31 points. 15th is Higgs Boston with 32 points. 14th is E. Diggity with 48. 13th is Mercedes AMG with 52 points. Paging Dr. Phil has made his way up into 12th with 54 points, but he's not running today, so he could end up falling again. 11th is Veli with 66 points. 10th is AK Herbie with 72. 9th is XRL Snake with 75 points. There is now a tie between Dragonborn and Collie Boy. 84 points even for 7th. 6th is XRL Dave with 87 points. Flavor in 5th, 121 points. If Flavor continues just bringing home a few points as the season goes on, he's going to pretty much lock up 5th in the championship himself. So great job if he's able to do that. And then the real interesting fight, the fight for 2nd in the drivers' fight. 2 McLarens versus a Red Bull. 4th is Mantic Meerkat with 230 points. 3rd is Herbago with 235. 2nd is XRL Zola with 241 points. Your championship winner is Schumacher SS7, 359 points at the stage of the event. Do you think it's likely that he can break the 400-point barrier this season?
I think it's very likely. I mean, how many? We got 3 races left.
Yeah, we have this race and then
Only
2 more after this.
Only needs 41 points.
41 points. And he's already got one of them just
he's already got
today.
so.
Yeah, if he can bring home an average of about about 13.333 points. Yeah, if Schumacher can bring home with top 3 finishes for the remaining 3 races of the season, yeah, Schumacher could very easily eclipse
It's definitely
400
very
points.
possible.
I don't think, I could be wrong, but I don't think XRL has ever had a champion earn 400 points by the end of the season before. I could
I
be
think you're
wrong,
right.
but because I'm not super familiar with how X1 has gone, but also part of it has helped that 25 races. This is by far the longest season we've ever had in XRL. Typically, the seasons have only been about 20 to 22 races. 25, it's a little bit longer. If this was a more traditional F1 full season that the series would do, we'd be looking at the last race of the season today, if not last week. But still, I think 359 points, this could potentially be the most we've ever seen. Again, one thing that's really helped is that Schumacher has finished every race this season except one, and he has been running at the finish every. Not only that, he has finished in the points, I believe, every race except 2. Monza and Brazil are the only 2 he was not able to finish in the points paying positions at. He was involved in an accident late at Monza, which dropped him to, I think, like 11th or 12th. And at Brazil, he was crashed out with 3 laps to go. Still recorded his reign at the finish because it did complete the 90% distance. But Schumacher, though, in that event, did bring home fastest lap point and pole position point. So even then, he still did bring home 2 points there. Yeah.
And something to add though, not many, just looking through the historical standings, not many people, even in the constructors, have eclipsed 400 points. So he could one set he's already set this single season amount of points, but he could also like just do it by himself and like total because looking back, the most anybody's ever scored is like 412 points as a constructors during a full season. So he
Yeah,
could he
that's
could set that record too.
and a constructors is traditionally a 2 driver effort, but in XRL history, it normally ends up being closer to a 3 or 4 driver effort. That's one of the other things that kind of make things interesting when it comes to the Ferraris and the McLarens at the top. Because I know it seems like we're sucking off the Ferrari guys at Schumacher a lot, but I want to bring this also to the McLarens real quickly also. And again, manufacturers' fight's not over. Ferrari and
15 points
McLaren,
separates them.
yeah, but Ferrari and McLaren, it's been only these 2 drivers all season long. And McLaren is kind of digging themselves out of a bit of a hole here because there were a lot of races early on where only one McLaren showed up for. But it's only been Herbago and Meerkat in those seats this entire season. In the Ferrari, it's only been Schumacher and Flavor in the seats this entire season. When we compare what they've done to other teams, typically in an XRL season, doesn't matter if it's X1, X2, X3, especially in realistic, it happens. Back when Dev used to give championship points, it was usually a 3 to 5 driver effort. The seats would kind of change throughout. Considering it's only been 2 drivers in those seats, statistically speaking, what we have seen from Schumacher, Herbago, Meerkat, and Flavor is beyond legendary. And then one more thing to add to that as well. Zola, who is still fighting for 3rd in the drivers and is pretty much locked up 3rd in the manufacturers championship by himself. Zola has near single-handedly brought home enough points that he could have won a manufacturers championship in almost any other season by himself. Like, for those 5 drivers, the 2 McLarens, the 2 Ferraris, and the top Red Bull, statistically, their seasons have been incredible. It doesn't matter how you look at it.
Yep. And we are on the formation lap, and it does look like a lot of people. Oh, we do have one person going on softs. I was about to say, if we didn't at least have one person going on softs, I'd be disappointed. But we do have one person. It's Fratters all the way back in 16th. And we do, as you said, have a full grid. Hopefully nobody disconnects like the last few weeks, but at the moment we do have a full grid. And it does look like a lot of people are going to be on the alternate strategy. I see 4, 5, and 6 are on the hards. Just in the top 10. But everybody else is on mediums in the top 10, so looks like the top 3 are going to have to pull away from that 4, 5, and 6 group as fast as they can, because as we keep talking about, Dragonborn is absolutely insanely fast in a straight line. He will be able to overtake anybody if he wants to. So, it's going to be essential for them to get a good start.
The counterpoint, though, is that this track is wide enough that, sure, Dragonborn might blitz him in a straightaway, but you could very easily just overtake Dragonborn in the corners around here. It's one of the reasons I love Portimao. This circuit feels like it was designed for modern-day F1 cars with how wide it is and how wide the corners are. It's very easy to make overtakes anywhere. This is kind of weird. I look at the grid. Look at this. Veli had an instant, and he is all the way back there at the back half of the grid. There's this massive split between Dragon and Veli in the circuit.
Yeah, I think there might be something going on here, because this is definitely not allowed, but...
Well, it doesn't really hurt, though, because the game, and I've talked about this a few times before, the game automatically locks in your tire temps.
Once you get on the grid?
Yeah, you do not lose tire temperature
okay.
once you're on the grid. So,
okay.
The top
Very
10 drivers
game.
here, they're not going to... I mean, it's kind of a balance between do you want realism or do you want good fun? Because I've seen, because early on when this game first launched, that was not the case. And I've seen drivers go out of their way to compromise those at the front.
That's what I was referencing. Like, I was like, oh, that's going to hurt the top 10 a lot. But I did not realize that that would actually happen. Oh, Dragon DSQ'd. I don't know how that happened. But, oh, he was already on the grid. Okay.
So apparently, historically speaking, the most successful champion ever, so not to knock around Schumacher's parade, Beard Boost in X2 a few seasons ago, in a 22-race season, he won 20 of those 22 races. This is old history, though. This is before XRL started moving teams up. But the entire field's on the grid now. I'm going to be looking at the front here. As we see the lights. 4 lights. 5 lights. That's lights out, away we go here, Portimao, and Herbago did not have a great start. Here comes Dragonborn to the inside already, can't make it stick, but he's side by side with Mirkaz. They go into the corner, gets hit from behind, and there's a massive exit right at the start. A bunch of drivers all into each other. Hayes Borto is out of it, Fratters is out of it as well, and Herbago has gotten by Schumacher. Saint, Dave, Dragon is involved. There's 2 cars crashed out in the first lap. That was a mess, and that will be a lap 1 yellow flag, and Zola gets a time penalty for corner cutting. Time penalties for corner cutting and hitting right away. And Zola in 3rd with a massive time penalty. Schumacher lost the top spot to Herbago on the run off the line as well.
This is not help. Not help McLaren with Meerkat being all the way down in 17th. I think he might have escaped some damage, actually. I think he just got tapped around, and I think he just went off track so far that he didn't get hit, but his tires are probably going to be destroyed. And it sucks. Oh, and Fratters, the only person that went on softs got absolutely is just DNF'd and Hayes. But, yeah, that sucks. Sucks for a lot of them. Dragonborn, I thought he was in it.
He was. No, Dragonborn was the cause of it. Dragonborn is at the start of it. All right, coming up party now is Hayes Borto. Yeah, Hayes Borto coming into the party. Borto, go ahead, include your audio. Rough start. What happened out there? Took you out lap 1, turn 1.
Yeah, Snake and Dave are in the pit, along with the Diggity. Yeah, I was looking in the back, and then I just saw the Haas go around, then I saw the McLaren go around, and it kind of just looks like people were just filing into it. It's like they couldn't do anything. They were getting tapped into and everything. Yeah, that was unfortunate.
All right, well, I got 2 more questions for you, mate. 1, we have 2 more races left, 1 at China and 1 at Miami. Do you think you can recover and put together a proper race at either of those circuits?
Yeah, let's hope. We don't want to see drivers going out in the first corner. That's just not fun to watch.
All right. And then one last question, Borto. Are you aware that your taste in anime is complete garbage?
Oh no, we got a weeb fight.
All right.
Well,
By the way, thanks for jumping in and talking with us, Borto, though, and we do look forward to hopefully you having a better run next week, mate. Sorry to see you knocked out like that. All right, coming in the party also right now is Fratters. Fratters, go ahead and include your audio. You were the only driver who was going to be on an alternate strategy started on the softs. What was your strategy for that race? And then afterwards, obviously, tell us what happened. But what was your strategy going to be for the race starting on the soft tires?
You guys can hear me, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you. Did you include your audio?
Okay, cool. It just
it's
says
connecting.
it just says I'm not in the party. That's really annoying. Yeah. So my strategy was going to be quite good. It said it was going to be according to the Delta, it was going to be the same time to do a one-stop soft to hard as it would to be medium hard. So I thought I'd rather the soft, so the first couple of laps, make loads of places, and then just hold everyone up, pit, have fresh tyres whilst they're on old mediums, they pit, I'm still ahead, job done, hold them up to the end. But it obviously didn't work out like that.
Yeah, no, I was shouting you out. Like I was gonna be disappointed if somebody didn't go soft. Then you did, and then you're the only one. You're one of the people who DNF'd. I'm like, oh, dang it.
Yeah, can't really see if it was actually going to be worth it or not.
I think it would have been just because so many people are on hards and mediums that the softs have such a good delta for the first few laps that you might have been able to get some places, but yeah, just
man,
unfortunate.
That was definitely the plan.
So from your perspective, what
Oh,
happened
and
out there?
Schumacher spun. Schumacher spun under safety car.
How was he
Oh
managed that?
my.
I think he went into neutral. I was on board with him, and he went into neutral. It looks like
Oh,
all the way
we've all
down
been
into
there.
6.
Well, real quickly,
Give him that extra rotation.
Well, real quickly, Fratters, what happened what did you see in that incident?
I think it kind of goes all the way from the grid. So I think Diggity got such a slow start, and me having my softs, I had a much better start. And then
there was a big gap.
I think Gemini braked because of Diggity in front of them. So because
Herbago
Gemini
left the
braked,
session.
I then hit them in the back, had no wing, and then I was
Herbago
literally
is-
just straight line into turn 1.
I'm
I'm
sorry
pretty
about
sure.
cutting you off, but Herbago's
No,
in
it's all
AI mode, so this actually is going to be an interesting start. I don't know what's going to go on here. Zola's right next to him.
Alright, well, either way, Fratters, thanks for
Wow.
jumping in and talking with us. Shame to see you taken out like this. Hopefully things go better for you next week as we are back underway here. And Portugal again! And Herbago and Herbie!
Baby's
Herbie
gone.
crashes right in front of the field! And another driver has lost an entire front wing coming through it as well! We stay green this
Meerkats.
time, though!
Meerkat's gained a lot of positions because of this, too.
And Dragonborn is in a great position because Herbago has AI mode on, so his car will be slower. And Zola, who is ahead, has a massive time penalty as well. Dragonborn might walk out of this with the race lead shortly. Oh, Valley is sideways ahead of Schumacher now.
It looks like Schumacher's going to get past him.
Yeah, that incident was caused from Hubago's AI as well.
Yeah. I just saw that when somebody left the session just a second before, and then I was looking down and I saw that Herbago left. Oh, that sucks.
Well, clean air
really
now
hurt
for
a lot of
Zola.
people's race.
Yeah, well, clean
And
air now
AKA
for Zola.
Herbie. And Herbie was up in 3rd for a second. Now he's all the way down in 16th.
Yeah, and there is someone
that-
else.
that
I didn't
really
see who it
sucks.
was. I see Herbie has a damaged front wing, and someone else also, I believe, lost part of their front wing in that melee. But yeah, neither of the Mercedes now are in points-paying positions at the moment. Drivers who are, Constant Jet has survived all this chaos early on. He's now in 9th. Hero Gemini
see
in
him
her
back,
first
too.
race ever. She is running 8th right now. Meerkat's now overtaken. And here's Dragonborn. He's already by Herbago. No DRS. It's just sheer straight line speed. Dragonborn's now in 2nd and trying to run down Zola.
What a unfortunate.
Bizarro start.
Yeah, I know. Unfortunate
Dragon
timeline of
hits.
events for a lot of people.
Dragon was the other guy
Schumacher
with wing
spins
damage.
under safety car, and Schumacher's going for the dive on Herbago's AI, and he gets it.
And now it's up to Veli, formerly known as Plastic Glove, and then behind him will be Flavor. Meerkat's back into the points now, but at the moment, Manufacturers Championship-wise, Ferrari has the advantage, and Constant Jet is holding off Meerkat on much harder tires. Jet did not have much confidence coming into this race, but he is definitely performing strong in the early parts right now.
And I don't think we realized this, but Meerkat was all the way down to 17th, and after that safety car, after that all that would happen right there, he's up into 10th. So great job from him. And Veli is just itching to get past Urbago at the moment.
Not just that, Schumacher is itching to get past Dragonborn, but they're coming onto the front straightaway. This is where Dragonborn's super low downforce setup is going to let him pull. Already, he's pulling in just that corner alone, and he is already running away. Look at this, at the line. Dragonborn's already at 200 miles an hour when Schumacher's not even at 190.
Yeah, but he's
Veli
already
gets
low on
past
ERS.
Hubalgo as well.
Also, DRS is now going to come into play, so Schumacher can use DRS to try and counter Dragonborn's big straight line speed advantage, and I don't think Dragonborn is close enough to Zola to use DRS against Schumacher. But even with DRS, Dragonborn is still pulling away from Schumacher on the straights.
Yeah, he was 12 miles an hour faster going up that hill on the front straight. So, that's insane.
But now we're in the twisties.
As far as I know, Dragonborn prefers a much quicker setup with low downforce, so he's a monster in the straight lines.
It does seem to work out for him a lot of the time, but also later in the race it seems to fall apart.
Yeah, the moment Dragonborn drops out of the top,
so much time here.
Yeah, Dragonborn's setup, it works very well when he's running top 3, top 4 positions, but the moment he drops out of the top 4 or so spots on the grid, he typically just kind of fails.
Let's see what happens here. Because Schumacher's right behind him, but as soon as he gets off that second to last corner, Dragonborn just goes unbelievable. He's already at 200.
Even with Schumacher set the fastest time, but just before he did, Dragonborn and Schumacher are the two fastest people on track.
He already gained 4/10 on him.
Flavor going around the outside of Hubalgo. Oh, he gets the move done.
And next up will be Swiester. Swiester, who was knocked out in the first round of qualifying as he was running.
I think Swiester also enjoys a very low downforce setup, at least from what I saw. So, and he gets a 3-second
time penalty.
Yeah.
The big wild card though is that at the front,
around.
Zola...
AK Herbie's around. That should matter though. He got it going again.
Big thing to consider though is that while Zola is your current leader, Dragonborn's all over the place, really struggling with the car. Schumacher's by, and there's the problem with that low downforce setup. Dragonborn really careful coming out of the corners. He could not keep Schumacher behind him because of how low downforce that car had. He had just no control. Now it's Schumacher's time to try and go after Zola.
And I can already bet that he's probably eaten up all his tire wear, or not his tire wear, all his tire temperature. Because it just looks like he's struggling coming out of the corners. So
Schumacher's within DRS range of Zola. Dragonborn is out of DRS range of the top 2. So it's going to be Schumacher and Zola at the front. I'm going to assume that he's going to
gain a little bit back on the straight. I mean, he already is.
Fastest lap again for Schumacher, 21.9. He gets behind the Red Bull, but not close enough to make the move.
Oh, and Zola goes off there a little bit.
Mercedes is around, and Herbago's gotten back by Flavor as well, coming down the main straightaway. But Mercedes now falls to 16th after spinning out of the final corner.
And Diggity overtakes Constant into turn 1. Side by side.
I also wonder what the stewards will do after the race for Herbago having his AI this long. I'm not sure if they'll disqualify him or just because I think he might be back actually. Hey, he's back. Herbago's back, so I wonder what they'll do. Herbago is gaining again.
The rules state, I believe,
I think it's 30 seconds.
It's 25% in AI, like being out of the session. It used to be 50. I think it's now 25% of the race.
He's gone
so he should be okay.
Oh, Herbie's around again.
Well, don't look now, but Dragonborn's closed back in on the leaders. I think he might just barely be within DRS range. So the speed that Dragonborn's going to have on the top 2 is going to be ridiculous here.
But now that he doesn't, I think Schumacher can pass Zola here.
Here comes Schumacher on Zola.
I think he just got past him.
So
Yeah,
Schumacher now overcoming his spin. Oh, Zola's coming back, and here comes... Oh my goodness, and look at that Dragonborn. It may be a low down for setup, but he is competent enough. He made that overtake in a corner.
And Schumacher was a little bit slow. I don't know what's going on there.
DRS drag race down the alternate DRS straightaway.
And Zola's going down the inside of Dragonborn.
And he'll hold it. And while they're all fighting, Veli in fourth is now close enough to see these two.
This is only going to help. Oh, is somebody going to... Oh my goodness, Dragonborn.
Yeah, that Haas is not set up. That Haas is not able to run side by side through these corners very well at all. He has to give up so much time to keep that thing alive.
And this has kind of helped Schumacher a little bit. He's gotten the second that he needs. But let's see what Zola has, because as we do look at the tires, Schumacher does have on mediums, while Zola has on hards, and this might be coming into the range where the hard might be taking over a little bit of the delta already, just because of this track is so high downforce.
The big counterpoint to that, though, is that Zola has that 5-second time penalty for the game-saying corner cut.
Look at Dragonborn coming down the straight. Oh my goodness, that's insane.
But now Zola can try and cross over in any of these corners or not. No, Dragonborn, despite that low downforce setup, that car also seems to be very good in turns 1 through 4 as well. He doesn't
seems
really
like
seem
it's a very good car in the first sector.
Yeah. But while these two are fighting, it's letting Schumacher scoot away.
Yeah.
Both times that Schumacher and Dragonborn have fought at the front of the field, Schumacher had lost to Dragonborn. But this time it looks like Schumacher has the advantage.
And Mantic Meerkat is now, and he's now behind Flavor. So let's see how Flavor decides to race with Mantic Meerkat. Is he gonna? I assume he's probably gonna try to hold him up because he probably knows he's faster. So guess we'll see what happens here. Herbago's also right behind Veli. He is pushing him.
Yeah,
he's gonna go for a move now. No, backs out.
He does, because Veli misses the corner.
Oof.
But now Herbago's right behind Zola.
And Zola's not going to be able to... Zola may have DRS on the Haas, but he's not going to gain any time on the Haas. He's saying the Haas, with DRS, even without DRS, outruns a car with DRS. So Zola, I think, has lost touch with Dragonborn now.
He might gain a little bit back through these corners, but he might... I don't know. Herbago is right behind Zola now, and Zola does not want to let Herbago go, because that's who he's fighting in the championship.
Yeah, counterpoint to that, though, Zola is still at over half of his ERS battery, while Herbago only is at 15%, so Zola does have that advantage in his favor right now. Pretty much the only advantage I think Zola has at the moment, because, yes, he has tires that will last longer, but he also has a 5-second time penalty. I think this is going to be a losing battle. I think Herbago is going to get by Zola in a few laps here. If not on track.
Really made light work of Flavor.
And as we keep saying, that Dragonborn setup does not like that second sector. He lost about 5-6 tenths just alone there. Zola is up on his lap. Oh, and who's around?
AlphaTauri around! Is that E-Diggity? It is!
I think that is. Good thing he got off track, though.
But that will drop E-Diggity down to 14th. Snake holds on to 10th, and Hero Gemini, in her first run in XRL, runs 9th at the moment.
Very good run so far. And it does look like Flavor might
Here comes Zola and Herbago for 3rd.
Oh, Mantic Meerkat is going into the pits this lap. And Sweester might pass Flavor. He is passing Flavor. Flavor is very low on ERS. Sweester got another 3-second though. I think that's his second time penalty for this race. So. Oh, somebody's around.
That is Mercedes AMG, who has spun out of the final corner again. It's the second time it's happened for him.
Yeah, old tires are not exactly liking it right now.
So Herbago has now cleared Zola, and now Herbago is setting his sights on Dragonborn.
Dragonborn is really struggling through that turn 7 complex. That car is not liking getting under acceleration. It's just wiggling it. He is like having to tippy toe through that section.
However, Dragonborn being alone for his last few laps, he's able to recharge a bit of his ERS, while
Yeah, and
Herbago is
Herbago-
still way lower. Oh my goodness, McLaren's going to try and make a move here. Could he make it stick? Yes, he
think he will be.
does.
I don't think down the straight he'll be able to make it stick.
Oh my goodness, here
Yeah.
comes Dragonborn now. And not only that, I think Dragonborn's going to have DRS as well. He is. Look at this massive
Oh
speed
my
difference.
goodness.
Now Herbago
He's not
knows
even
what it's
using
been like for the
ERS.
rest of the field. Yeah, that's been what it's been like for the rest of the field fighting for Herbago this season. Now Herbago knows what the shoe is on the other foot. Now he has to reason out, okay, how do I get past someone that much faster than me in a straightaway?
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't even using ERS. So, oh, Veli with a 3-second time penalty. That does not help him. So. But this is helping Schumacher so much because Herbago and Schumacher on the same strategy. And I don't know. I think maybe the race pace might help a little bit. Oh, somebody's around again. I think that's Imperium. Yep.
And for the Williams team that needs to get past that 100-point barrier, this is not going to help them at all.
No,
Mercedes
I think
AMG finally
Schumacher-
pits at 17th, so I think Mercedes AMG is likely to go a lap down here.
And this is what's just going to keep hurting Herbago going through here. He's losing so much time behind Dragonborn, so.
And Dragonborn's cracked off a few laps by himself, but it's obvious that by themselves, Herbago is faster than Dragonborn. But in a straight fight between the two, Dragonborn's straight line speed advantage is massive. I don't know why Dragonborn's worried about breaking the draft. He's faster, even when Herbago has draft and DRS and DRS.
I mean, he used a little bit of ERS, and he was the same speed as he was with DRS without using ERS. That is just, I mean, that is just tough. I don't know how you deal with that. So.
We want to say thank you for Fratters once again for jumping in and sharing
thank
his
you so
experience
much.
with us as he has stepped away. So it's back to just you and I now. This has gotten, this fight for second is nuts. And here's the other thing, consider Schumacher, I don't know if Schumacher is dealing with tire fall off or if he's just being careful and pacing himself.
I think
But,
he's being careful because he has a lot of ERS piled up, so. Oh, and a Haas is around constant jet. Oh, he is backwards. But I think he'll be able to, hopefully he doesn't get DSQ'd. I think he'll be able to get this turned around. Hope it doesn't cause a safety car. Oh, and Mantic Meerkat did go into the pits. I think I pointed that a few laps ago.
Yes, you did.
Down in 14th at the moment.
Well, Dragonborn and Herbago have actually pulled, despite their fighting, they've actually pulled away from Zola a little bit. So it seems like these three, Schumacher, Dragonborn, and Herbago, are the three best drivers out here. I think Herbago has overall a slight pace advantage over both of them, and the top two are pitting. The top two are pitting. Herbago stays out.
I don't know about this for Herbago. I mean, I guess he's maybe
I don't know
gonna
about
try
this
to.
for Dragonborn. Did he burn his hard tires up that quickly, that soon? Because if he did, then what does that mean for his mediums?
Yeah. He might just be trying to, copy the strategy of the leader, which I think might keep him maybe around the same, area code, because
the big problem with that, though, is that now Dragonborn is going to be in the middle of the field. This is where his low downforce setup starts hamstringing him the most.
Schumacher almost lost it. Those cards are very cold, and this actually might help Dragonborn gain a little bit on Schumacher, because he is a lot closer to the end of the pit lane than Schumacher is, so. And E-Diggity is the only person separating Schumacher from Dragonborn, so.
Yeah, E-Diggity's giving Schumacher a bit of a rough run of it right now, as Schumacher's struggling to get those tires up to temperature.
And
The
let's
big
see
thing,
what
though,
Herbago will do this lap.
I don't think E-Diggity is
might be
aware.
coming
I don't think E-Diggity is aware that Dragonborn is going to be. Oh, Schumacher
And
very nearly off circuit there. But I don't think
Herbago's
E-Diggity is
coming
aware
to the
that
pits
Dragonborn's
this
going to
lap.
be way faster. All right, so Herbago's pitting now. Zola now inherits the race lead, and
very
Flavor will go
low
into
on
second.
ERS, though. That's the difference, though, between Herbago and Schumacher. Herbago just burned all of his ERS, while Schumacher still has around 100%. But let's see
Herbago's already coming down. It may not be that bad for him.
how close it will be.
Oh my goodness, Dragonborn, please be careful trying to overtake E Diggity. He's not going to go for it this time.
Is that how much?
But the McLaren
that
is ahead.
Was
Herbago, he
Hey.
may have burned all. Yeah, Herbago burned all his ERS on the in-lap, and he put together a monster in-lap.
But
That's now
also,
put him ahead of Schumacher.
Let's see what Schumacher will do here. He has the ERS.
He's got the DRS. He goes to the outside of the McLaren into turn 5. Contact between the two of them. Contact twice, 3 times, 4 times contact, and they're around, and they're both off. And your top 2 are now off. And this might give Dragonborn the lead now.
I do not know what in the world Herbago was doing there.
That
had
looked like
him,
a
too.
racing. That looked like a racing instant, but both of the drivers thought the other one was gonna back out, and they never did. And that might kill Herbago and Schumacher's race, and that will also massively upset, I think, the run for those teams in the manufacturer championship. Now Dragonborn is in 5th. I think Dragonborn has now set himself up to potentially win this race if we stay green to the end.
Depends though on his tires though, because
Yeah, we don't know how his tires are
as
gonna
we
be.
saw. Yeah.
It's clean air. The good news, though, for Dragonborn is that he has clean air. The 4 drivers ahead of him all will have to pit, and they're all 10 or more seconds ahead of him right now.
Oh, Schumacher! I think Schumacher has damage.
And that will kill the Ferrari's hopes for their manufacturers championship.
Dang.
An extra
If I
pit
was-
stop is going to
I think
totally
if I was
kill them.
Schumacher there, I would have stayed out there.
They may not have had a choice depending on how terminal the damage is. If Schumacher was just going to lose time, it wasn't going to help him. But now, both McLarens are in the points-paying positions. Only XRL Flavor in the Ferrari camp is in the points-paying positions. He is running 2nd right now, running the hards as long as he can. Could Flavor try doing the inverse of what Fratter's strategy was? Could Flavor try to run these hards as long as he can and then throw on softs to the end of the race?
Yeah, I don't know what the heck that Herbago was thinking there. I don't like calling out people on stream. I never am a big fan of that. I definitely didn't like it when people did that to me on stream, but I was very inexperienced. That was very.
I
was
don't
not a
really
good
think.
move.
I don't know if that was Herbago or not. That looked like it was just a racing instant, and both drivers thought the other was going to roll over. I think blame's pretty even 50-50 on both drivers there.
I guess, but I guess we have different opinions, and I think we'll just leave it at that.
Well,
It
what
does-
viewpoint did you see? Because the viewpoint I saw was kind of like, it wasn't a helicopter, but it was high overhead view looking kind of down into the apex of the corner. So,
When I was on board with, actually both of them. I was switching in between as fast as I could. I mean, as far as I was seeing, it looked like Herbago he was already off track. It looked like he got in there way too much. He was not beside him enough to, and then he started pushing him off, and I didn't think that was exactly fair to Schumacher. And it didn't look like he, I don't know, I don't want to assume too many things, but it didn't look like he wanted to get on track after that, and that's what caused the spin, the damage. But let's just stop it there, 'cause I don't want to.
well,
Sorry.
we are not. Yeah, we're not the officials for XRL.
So I don't want to conspiracy, too much conspiracy there. So.
Well, either way, we do have enough of the race left that it is possible that Herbago can recover. I think Schumacher's race, though, is torpedoed.
Yeah,
he's
9 seconds behind a Diggity, so.
Yeah. Fight for 4th now. Dragonborn runs 5th. Dave is in 4th. Again, Dragonborn has a massive straight line speed advantage, but Dave's presence is going to hamstring Dragonborn's ability to conserve his tires.
Yep.
Dragonborn fighting for what could be his 3rd different victory this season after missing, I think like the first 15 races of the season. And in his fight for potentially taking home 5th in the Drivers' Championship, this would help significantly in that. Zola continues to lead at the front, but he has a 5-second time penalty.
And I don't think we've been mentioning this, but Hero Gemini in her first race is in 3rd. Great debut for her.
That's fantastic driver of the day stuff right there. Considering it's your first run, you're running podium positions right now.
So, and Veli also I think should get a little bit of a shout out, running a very good race for him. So,
The field very much spread out this stage in the race. There are a few fights like this fight for 14th. Dragon, Herbie, and Zach
Zola
all
is in
going
the
at
pits
it.
now.
All right, so does Zola serve his time penalty?
And Flavor is coming into the pits as well.
So Hero Gimme will come across, so she's going to lead her first laps here in XRL X3. Zola, they serve the 5-second time penalty in the pits. So that's going to put him well behind Flavor.
No, he came out in front of Flavor.
Oh, that's
Flavor did not have a very good pit in, so I think that's the reason why. It's
also Dave has lost.
Out.
Also, Dave has ended up behind Dragonborn. Zola behind Herbago.
Oh, that really did not help Swister there. That was close.
Here's the thing, Herbago's on hard tires, already have some wear on them, so Zola's going to be faster than Herbago, and I think that's going to turn into the fight for second. And now Flavor and Swister, they're in that fight as well.
I think her. Oh, and
here's Meerkat
going in. Yeah, I didn't realize he was there too, but he is on older hard tires. He pitted way earlier than everybody else did.
At the front is Hero Gemini, and when she comes across the line, she will lead her first lap in XRL X3, but the real driver to keep your eyes on is the man in second, Dragonborn, with that ultra-low downforce setup, on path to potentially win his third race this season. He won after underfueling by 7 laps in his first race ever, back in Zandvoort. Then he won at Suzuka in a very long, hard-fought...
She is in the pits.
Yeah. Then Dragonborn won his second race at Suzuka in a long, hard-fought battle. Now Dragonborn trying to go to his third victory. But will his tires last to the end? That is the question. Veli has actually gotten by Herbago. Veli has gotten by Herbago. And mind you, Veli is on tires. Yeah, Veli is on tires that will take him to the end. So if your race leader, Dragonborn, starts dealing with issues, it will go to Veli, Herbago.
This definitely is gonna help. This is definitely gonna help Dragonborn. But I don't know how much longer he's gonna be able to get past. Looks like Veli is struggling a little bit, but does look like Herbago is gonna get past. Oh, side by side at the moment.
Dragon gets a time penalty for speed in the pits. Contact between the Williams and the McLaren.
Oh, and Veli. Great driving by both of them. Veli stays ahead.
Yeah, I see Herbago, and he's really leaning on Veli. Not excessively, but I see the way he's racing Veli, and it just makes me more and more sure that, yeah, what happened between Herbago and Schumacher was not a matter of Herbago being dumb. I don't think that's what it was at all. I think both drivers just leaned on each other, and they miscalculated.
I think it was a mix of cold tires, too, because we also got to remember that Herbago had just come out of the pits, and as we saw on, I think it was Dragonborn and Schumacher's outlap, they were both very kind of just like cautious and just they weren't that fast, and it was just very slippery. So I think it was a mix of probably all that, probably trying to stay in the lead and everything. I mean, there's so much pressure on right now, so I guess we'll just see.
11 laps to go at this stage in the race.
This is helping Dragonborn, because just last lap he did gain a second on the two behind him. So.
Yeah, again, the biggest question is going to be, does Dragonborn have enough of a gap that he can nurse the tires to the end? Because he's on mediums, and he needs to make these mediums last a long time. And with the ultra-low downforce setup, you know, he's going to be burning through his rubber a lot faster than the rest of the field. Here comes Herbago again on Veli through Sector 2. Couldn't get alongside, but while Herbago keeps being held up by Veli, now Zola's back into the fray as well.
Sector
Yellow
2.
flag, Alfa Romeo. Is that Dave? Yes, Dave spins out of the points-paying positions.
Yeah. And XRL Dragon might be able, or is about to get lapped by Dragonborn, so I guess we'll see. But it also does look like Dragonborn might be just trying to, you know, just take a little bit easy, because he is a little bit down on his sector times, but it does look like he might be just nursing a little bit.
I think Veli has looking at this fight in second.
I think Veli also
Veli
has a very
lower downforce setup.
Yeah, because as I saw on the on the straight a few laps ago. He just pulled.
Yeah. And both second and third are very low on their ERS right now. Herbago is faster in Sector 2. If Herbago gets by Veli, he's going to have to do it, I think, in Sector 2. 100% driver skill overtake. He's not going to be able to rely on DRS to help.
And how much do you think people are underfueled, overfueled? Can you see that at the moment?
Well, we did 2 laps under yellow early on, and here's the fight! And Veli nearly swerves into Herbago. Herbago going around the outside. Can he make it stick? Yes, he does! Herbago is by!
Is Veli going to go for the move? Oh,
he went for it.
Almost
He's going
there.
for it. And Zola is there as well, ready to capitalize. But Herbago has the position. Zola tried to go to the inside of Veli, couldn't make it stick, and now Swister is there.
Let's see if Veli might be able to get him back on the straight, because he is dumping, so we did see his straight line speed.
But he's not going to have much left.
And he's going to have DRS. Let's see.
But he doesn't have any ERS, so his top speed from the
Dragon
engine is going to be low. Swister on Zola. Here comes Veli on the outside. Herbago can't make it stick. Swister and Zola have crashed. Swister and Zola have crashed, and Flavor goes way on the outside to avoid. Flavor and Meerkat go by. Meerkat overtakes Flavor as well. Zola and Swister, who are on path for podium finishes, now drop to 8th and 9th on track.
Yeah.
So that will help the McLarens greatly. They are now in 2nd and 4th.
And I don't know what happened out in front there, because it looked like Dragon spun, but I'm not exactly sure what happened there.
It looked more like Dragon just pulled over really aggressively to let the leader pass. And
Oh, I
he may
thought
have
it
ended up
looked like
losing
he
more time than
spun.
he wanted to.
Okay. He dropped back really far.
Of note, though, Dragon is on soft tires, so he might be able to outrun this fight for second, because Herbago is on worn hards. But Herbago's been a stronger driver also, so I don't know.
That is unfortunate for the... And I think, I don't want to jinx this, but I think usually it's an X3 tradition. I think we might have a late race safety car here. So, I guess we'll see. I mean, with this many people clumped up near the end of the race, we might have a safety car sooner or later.
Well, safety car or not, I took a real quick look through. No one is at risk of being low on fuel right now, so I think so that yellow flag, those nearly 3 laps of yellow at the start of the race, I think has put everyone good on fuel. And that was Dragon, right in front of Herbago.
Oh no,
he was backwards. Yeah, he was backwards. Well, McLaren isn't going to win this race, but they are setting themselves up to come home with a pair of podium finishes again. And if they do so, that coupled with Schumacher's accident, dropping him down to 12th and out of the points, this means that McLaren would retake the manufacturer's points lead.
Yeah.
Credit to Flavor. Flavor is really performing strongly. He's running 5th on merit.
We also got to remember there are some time penalties, and he is right behind. You know, he's right there.
And Flavor's tires aren't as likely to drop off.
Around again.
That's an AlphaTauri. That is, who is that?
Oh, that's Ediggity.
Ediggity. And now Ediggity spins out of 10th. So Dave spun out of 10th earlier. Now Ediggity does it. So the fight for a last point on track is still going on. And again, that AlphaTauri team, they need to get any points they can if they want to get to 100 points across the season. And they've just not been able to do it. Now, again, both of the AlphaTauris are out of the points-paying positions. And look at this. While those two have been fighting around, Schumacher in 12th now sees Dave and Ediggity ahead of him. Schumacher might just barely break back into the points-paying positions to try and counter some of the loss he's had.
Yeah, I don't know if there's... Do we have side pod damage? I don't remember if we do.
No, XRL does not enable side pod damage.
Okay.
I think they should. I would love to see it where if they had full body damage, but because you cannot repair side pod... Well, because you can't repair side pod or rear wing damage, the XR officials say, no, we're not going to allow it. So
and I think
I'm not a fan of that,
might get past Ediggity here.
He's looking for it. He goes to the inside.
Yeah, so he's going to get it.
And Schumacher's next focus will be XRL Dave
to get into the points-paying positions, so we'll see.
Right now, any point that Schumacher can bring home will be necessary for that team's fight the manufacturers. All things considered, considering that Herbago was turned all the way around in their accident. Dragons crashed out in Sector 1.
No safety car. It's only a one car crash, and I'm pretty sure it's off circuit too. Yeah, it's off circuit. But just in the last few laps, it does look like Dragonborn has been pulling away from Herbago in the last few laps.
Also of note, Mantic Meerkat has caught Veli, trying to make it a 2-3 finish for the McLarens to counter the 1-3 finish that the Ferraris brought home last week.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and coming to the party right now is XRL Dragon. Dragon, go ahead, include your audio. Rough race that finally ends for you near the end. What happened that took you out there? All right, so travesty to see this happen, mate. 2 more races left in the X3 season. Will you be able to show up to either of those remaining events? All right, I can understand that. Well, by the way, we do appreciate you jumping in. Nice full 20-car grid for today's race, and you definitely helped with that. Shame to see your final run in X3 this season gonna come to an end like that. Hopefully get to see you more in at least the realistic league on Saturdays, though. All right. Thanks, mate. We'll talk to you later. Have a good time. Even with DRS, Meerkat cannot get by Veli, and while 3rd and 4th are fighting, Hero, Gimme, and 6th, and Flavor, and 5th are closing.
Yeah, this is only helping Flavor, and Flavor might, if he's able to keep within the 3 seconds of Mantic and Veli, he might be able to come home with a 3rd place.
And a big thing considering that
and Hero
is that
Gemini is right there too.
Yeah, a big thing to consider with that. Yeah, a big thing to consider with that is that Flavor and Hero Gemini are both on medium tires, while Veli and Meerkat are on hards. So those. What's going on? What do you need? Oh, okay. Yeah, the longer Meerkat stays behind Veli, the worse and worse Meerkat's tires are going to be, and that will just make it easier and easier for Flavor to stay here.
And now, again, at the moment, it does look like Meerkat will finish in 7th, just because it's just so close behind everybody.
Oh, Meerkat's ran himself out of ERS. Meerkat's ran himself out of ERS this time, so he has DRS, but he doesn't have ERS.
Yeah.
But so has Veli. Veli and Meerkat have both emptied their ERSs pretty much. Flavor is still at 40%. Although Flavor has lost touch with the 2 a little bit this lap, though. But still, also of note, Schumacher has gotten by Dave. And Snake just got by Hero Gemini.
Yeah.
And Meerkat and Veli, side by side out of turn 5.
Let's see what happens here.
Veli has better acceleration. That lower downforce setup means that he can rocket out of the corners a lot faster. So Veli's back by.
It looks like he just stays there. This is, I think, this is really helping Herbago, but also this is really helping Flavor behind. So
thing is, Snake
this
is
like a win.
This is a
win-lose. This is a win-lose for McLaren, but you know.
I think it's going to be a win overall because while Schumacher has gotten back into the points-paying positions with 4 laps left, he is almost 10 seconds out from Sweester in 9th. Schumacher's not really in pace to finish any higher than 10th.
Yeah.
And again, Meerkat empties himself of ERS. Actually, Veli timed his ERS usage a bit longer. He doesn't run out until later down the straight. So Veli is actually even farther than Meerkat.
But the dirty air is really what does not help Mantic Meerkat. Let's see if Mantic goes for it this lap. He's does.
Going for it.
Oh, a little bit of a bump.
And that washed both of them way up, and Flavor is right there again. Flavor doesn't have to make these overtakes. If he just hangs out behind these 2, he will finish 3rd on penalty countback.
Yeah. So could really do good in the Ferrari camp if this just stays the way it is. So. Sector 1, it looks like
Mercedes AMG, I believe.
yeah, is
Oh,
around.
AK Herbie has just set the fastest lap back there in 16th.
But he is out of the.
Well, he'll
points,
get
so-
points. They give
Yeah,
a point
but
for
that's
fastest
just-
lap in top 10 and a point for
But look
fastest
how
lap out of the
close
top 10.
these two are behind. But it does look like Veli has a bit more ERS. Let's see what it's going to be like going into the first corner.
Meerkat on the outside. Can't keep it side by side through 1. He'll try a crossover out of 2. Into 3, no. And Flavor and Snake are there, and Hero Gemini is closing back in again as well. Flavor's just using ERS and dumping ERS whenever he can to stay ahead of Snake,
yeah.
and it's wrecked! Oh, and that's it!
Oh.
That's all of them!
That
And Hero
did
Gemini's
not
by,
help.
and Snake is by!
Oh, and the Ferrari got damage too from it. Bad damage.
Meerkat still seems to be good, though.
Oh, this is really not going to help Ferrari. That really.
And Snake now in 3rd position.
Yeah, that was.
As the leader comes down with 2 laps to go when he crosses the line now.
Yeah, that was a little bit of drama for the end of the race.
And this will help. This will let Zola close in a little bit on the drivers ahead, but Zola's going to lose ground to both of the McLarens who are chasing him in the fight for 2nd in the championship. And Hero Gemini 5th right now, but she could end up finishing 4th due to Meerkat's time penalties.
And we still don't know the time penalties of everybody ahead, so yeah, this could end up very good for Hero Gemini on her debut. So
of note, Meerkat in 4th
remember,
is a 3-second time penalty.
Flavor is still right there.
Yeah, but with that wing damage, he's not going to stay there to the end for sure. I can guarantee that. Unless Meerkat and Gemini start fighting it out, Flavor is not going to be able to overtake Meerkat by race's end.
Yeah. Still could be in a
Veli
few
has 11
positions
seconds.
Just off of a.
Oh, so this is interesting. Schumacher might actually come home 8th because he is within 12 seconds of Swiester, 9 seconds to be exact, and he's just on the limit of maybe overtaking Veli as well because Veli and Swiester have 11 and 12 seconds of time penalty each. Schumacher has none. So Schumacher might recover to an 8th place finish. That wouldn't really help Ferrari as much as they need it to, but it would be better than nothing, I'd guess.
That was just a really bad way for Veli to end his race too. No, he didn't end it, but he probably is not going to score points now. Plus Zola is coming through.
Yeah, Zola on Flavor. He's by. Oh,
And
Zola
Zola's
just got a
thinking
time
of
penalty, though.
3-second, yeah.
The problem is, though, that with Zola gained by Flavor, Flavor is now going to be far enough behind Meerkat. Like I said, there's no way he's going to overtake Meerkat. So, yeah, Manufacturers Championship incidents, but the McLarens are going to walk out with a massive advantage. Flavor just trying to nurse that wounded Ferrari home at this point. I think Flavor
Yeah.
can only come home 6th at most.
Yeah.
But at the
least
front,
just crossing the
Dragonborn with that ultra low downforce setup, it's worked.
Don't lose it.
Didn't work at Yaz, but it's worked here. He has one last corner left, and he's going to come home with a fantastic victory. He's out of fuel. He's running low on fuel as he comes to the line, but he'll make it.
What a race
And
for
Herbago
him,
will
too.
come home 2nd.
What a race.
And Herbago. Drivers' Championship is out of contention, but Manufacturers will go swinging back in the McLaren's favor as Herbago brings it home 2nd. And Meerkat will come home in 5th, I think. Snake will cross the line 3rd. And Hirogami will take home 4th on her first debut event. Meerkat will come home 5th. Flavor will come home 6th. Zola 7th. Veli will be 8th. Or will he? How close is Schumacher?
He
No,
takes
Schumacher
8th.
gets 8th.
And I
Veli
think
9,
he took the
Sweetster 10.
fastest lap inside the top 10 too. And he took pole. So that's maybe
6
2?
points.
Yeah.
If we're getting that right, that would be 6 points. Yeah.
Yep.
We can't really invite Dragonborn because he doesn't have a mic and he's on PC.
Yeah. So just try to get Herbago and Snake, and let's also get Hero Gemini in the party.
But Dragonborn, 3 wins in a very shortened season. Honestly, if he was here from the start of the season, I think he would have potentially taken a lot of points away from Schumacher and Herbago and maybe made a 3-way fight for this X3 title.
I have to agree with you on that one. That was a very, very good race from him. And it does seem like, unlike last week, that very low downforce setup actually worked out. Probably also helped out that there wasn't as many safety cars in this.
Well, yeah,
and I was actually wrong about the late race safety car.
Dropped. Yeah, he also didn't really drop out of the top positions.
Yeah. Well, that was one hectic race, I think we got to say. Hey, and I have sworn something not very realistic.
So, yeah, this is going to be interesting to say at least one way or another.
Yep.
Either way, I will go ahead and throw this out there. We don't know if Herbago is going to be given his second place finishing result because he did spend several laps under safety car, not under safety car, in the race under AI. Meerkat, we don't know. There may be penalties coming his way as well due to the incident between himself and Veli. That could honestly go either way. But either way, I think it's very, very likely that McLaren walks out of here with a massive advantage. In the end, Williams brings home 2 points. And their quest to try and get into the 100-point mark that will help them out. It looks like we're not going to be able to talk to anyone, I think, by the end of this.
I think it's probably best.
Everyone in the top four. Well, no one in the top 4 seems to have a mic or is willing to jump in.
And it does not look like Schumacher will get that fastest lap point inside the top 10. Dragonborn has taken that too.
Yeah.
Well. What a race. What a great race. Didn't join till late. Very interesting qualifying. People spinning under safety car, people disconnecting under safety car. What a wonderful race. Am I right?
Yeah. Well, in about an hour's time, the X2 event is getting underway. There's a possibility that there will be some major championship implications in that event. However, I will not be covering that event. I'm going to be watching the Daytona 500 a little bit, which will be starting in a little bit here.
30 minutes probably.
Yeah. Next week, though, XRL will be getting underway at China. Also on Saturdays, the Realistic League is back. So you can go ahead and join us at 8 p.m. UK time on Saturdays for a full-length race with 100% length distance and realistic performance cars. And then will be the second to last race of the season on Sunday at the normal time. Until that time, I have been your host, InsaneLear13. I was joined by Shelby IX Spark. Shelby, thank you very much for jumping in with me today. And we will see you next time. Until then, farewell and goodbye.